All right, good morning. Let's get started. I don't want to take too much of your time. Thank you for being here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jamie Harris, and I'm here at the Maryland Department of Labor as an education program specialist. My specialty area is technology integration, and so you've probably seen emails from me, especially about the digital literacy framework, which I'm very excited about. And today we're going to chat a little bit about a project that we're going to start. It's a very quick project. If you've looked at the document that I attached to the email last week, you'll notice it's for a couple months, but I wanted to give an opportunity to share the vision for this project and give you an opportunity to ask questions. I will not take a long time, so you can get back to all the tasks that you have to do today. So thank you for being here. All right, so let's give you a little bit of background. The Digital Literacy Framework for Adult Learners was launched in December. It was created not only by me, no, it was a team effort. Bio here at the state, Gina here at the state, and many instructional specialists, instructors, and also administrators had a role in putting this framework together. I'm very proud of the work that we've done together. If you haven't looked at it yet, it is on this slide. The link is available. You can also go to the Maryland Department of Labor website and see the document as well. But the purpose of the framework is to provide structure and definition, offer a reference for evaluation, encourage technology integration, and support. Its main reason is support, because we keep hearing that digital literacy is so important, it's important, it's important, it's important, but what does that look like? So this was the beginning of trying to define what the digital literacy framework or what digital literacy should look like for adult learners. Okay, so we have the framework, and the framework, if you've seen it before, and I want to show you, hopefully you guys will be able to see this. Gina, if you could confirm for me if you can see this.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is what the framework looks like for those of you who haven't seen it. And this is the image of the framework, and you'll see there are interconnected elements within the framework. But even though we have a little bit of definition on each one, it's still a bit general. And for that reason, we realize that we need additional support. We can't just provide the framework. We need something to help instructors implement it in the classroom, as well as instructors' own professional learning and professional development. So we want to go beyond the general guidance from the digital literacy framework by creating an instructor implementation guide. This guide will supplement the original framework, but provide a little bit more detail. So this project's purpose is to create content for the implementation guide. The dates for the project are March and April, very quick, right? The participants are instructors. We all who've been in the classroom, including myself, have experiences with technology in classrooms. We've been in the classroom, but this project is for instructors who are in the field now and could implement this technique, and I'll explain a little bit in a moment, in the field today. So it's for instructors in Maryland adult education classes. It is for ABE and also for ESL at multiple levels. So my hope is not that it's just NRS levels 6, 5, and 4. If there are instructors who use technology at the lower levels, we want that information too. What are the deliverables? This third bullet point here. Each instructor is to provide 3 lesson activities, not lesson plans for the whole class and using a full lesson plan. No, these are lesson activities, because the digital literacy framework exists to integrate into the content that you are already doing. Meaning, what do I mean by that? If a teacher is already teaching, I don't know, civic responsibility, they're already teaching this, how are they using technology to enhance that lesson? not just teaching technology for the sake of technology, but how are they integrating technology with an activity? So we're looking for 3 lesson activities. The next bullet point shows the deadline. And I'm going through this quickly for the sake of your time, but we will have an opportunity for questions after I share. The deadline is before April 29th, and I have a specific form for the submissions. Programs and instructors who are accepted to participate in the program will then receive the form. Okay, so what's the outcome? All these lesson activities will be curated for the implementation guide that I mentioned earlier and will be available for statewide use. I see a comment here. I hope you guys can still hear me. Okay, thanks, Gina. Okay, so how are we going to do this? So in order to participate in the project, you have to be familiar with the framework in the first place. So we have the digital literacy framework that needs to be reviewed. Then you attend an informational Zoom webinar, which is this one. Think about then, after this informational session, you decide which element or elements will be of focus. This is happening probably at the administrative level, instructional specialists, program administrators, thinking about what elements to focus on based on the framework, the digital literacy framework, and identifying instructor or instructors and class levels for field testing. So I know that there are instructional specialists now who have someone in mind. They've seen technology integration in the classroom, and they can reach out to those instructors. I know that there are a few instructors logged in today because they were expressing interest. What needs to happen to be a part of this project is elements need to be identified as well as class levels for field testing. If the program is interested in participating in the project, the Google form needs to be completed before February 28th, which is next Friday. I'll show you what this form looks like. This is it here. There's some information that I will need from you in order to reach out to you for the next step. The next step is this one. You would participate in a virtual meeting with me. So once I receive responses to the Google form on the 28th, I will schedule a meeting early March to discuss what was put in the form and any other information that may be needed. After that virtual meeting, you will receive confirmation or denial of participation in the project via email. And then you'll have time to carry out your plan, complete it, and document and submit the lesson activities before April 29th. I'm going to show you this document. This is the document that would be used for submission that I would send to you if you are accepted. Let me make this a little bigger. There are instructions on the front to explain what these items are. And so these are the areas that need to be completed. And I'm not going to go into detail with this form now, but just so you know, there are areas to complete based on the lesson activity that will be submitted. Notice the deadline before April 29th. As you can imagine, there will be a lot of reading and maybe some corresponding based on what the activity says to make sure that there's clarity. So that's why the deadline is the end of April. It gives us time in May to really work through each of the lesson activities. So some additional information. I got a few emails yesterday regarding compensation. Instructors who are part-time are eligible for compensation. The amount, it's a certain amount per lesson activity that is submitted. The caveat to this, I guess, is program administrators would have to be able to work with us in order to do this. So if instructors plan to be a part of this, it's not just, yes, I'm interested. We would have to talk through dealing with funding for compensation. But in the plan that we have now, we will have compensation for part-time instructors. And then the next part here, I have steps taken after the deadline. When the lesson activities are submitted, we will review them, and it will be curated, put together as an instructor implementation guide, and then distributed across the state. I'm very excited about it because I know there's a lot of expertise in the field. Instructors are doing the work. And so this is an opportunity for instructors to show off a little bit of what they're doing in the classroom. And it's a collaboration across the state to create something. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity for us. And there are other people outside of the state that are interested in this guide. So I think it's going to be great. So those are all the slides I have. I went through that very, very quickly. I will give you an opportunity for questions, and Gina, if you think I left anything out, just let me know. I'm checking out the chat box now. Please feel free to ask questions. Make sure that if you are asking a question, choose all panelists and attendees. First question, can instructors fill out the Google form, or is it just the program doing that? My preference is that the program is involved with the form being filled out, because if an instructor just fills it out, the program administrator, the IS, may not be informed, and they need to be a part of this process. So my preference is that the program fills out the form. There's a question about compensation. The amount for compensation is already determined by us here at the Maryland Department of Labor. You're welcome. Okay, I'll give a couple more minutes for questions to be typed into the chat box. What criteria would you use to evaluate the submissions? That is a great question. One, it has to be relevant to the digital literacy framework. There will be consistency across, so the format will be the same for every lesson activity. That is the beginning of our evaluation. There will be more, but that's the start. Make sure it is connected to the digital literacy framework, and it answers all the questions provided in the form that you would receive once you're accepted. You'll understand what that evaluation looks like based on the form. It's quite detailed, and I think clearly explains what we're looking for. If information's missing from that, it'll lack consistency across the board, and it lacks things that are needed for others to use that lesson activity in their context. Okay, well, this is probably, so there's a question about the compensation amount. That is something that I will discuss with, do you remember on, let me go back to this slide where I have a virtual meeting with the program or the person that submits the form? That's where that discussion will happen. We have a question here. It is exciting, isn't it? It says, will the authors of the lesson activities be named in the final product or otherwise credited for contributions? So if you've seen the digital literacy framework, at the end of the framework, those who are involved have been named at the end. It's what I would like to do, but I'm not giving a definite answer for that yet, because as you know, when you deal with projects and there's so much, things can change, but that is my hope. I think if an instructor does it, they should receive credit for it. The format of what that looks like, I'm not sure yet. Okay, any other questions? This is probably the shortest meeting you've ever attended. Can we have, here, another question. Can we have 2 or more instructors working together on the lesson activities, i.e. submitting more than one instructor's name in one form? Okay, the hope, so for programs, how do I phrase this? If you have 5 instructors who are interested in participating, and you think that their contributions will be great for this instructor implementation guide for this project, submit the form for 5 people. I'll show you this form again. At the bottom of the form, it says who is the instructor of this course or courses and how and why was this instructor chosen. I made this into paragraph form, so you should have enough room to put multiple instructors in one form. Also, this area it's check boxes, so you can check more than one level, and the elements can also be checked. So this form has been created so that you can put more than one instructor for one form. All right, let me get the chat box back up. There's a question about who's participating in the virtual meeting, the program coordinators or the instructors who are interested to participate. It would really need to be both, the one who's doing the work and either the IS or the program administrator, because there are administrative things that go along with this project. Okay. All right, it looks like, oh, one more question. Can you describe the administrative responsibilities? Anytime we're dealing with funds, program administrators are a big part of that. The administrators don't have a role really in the classroom and doing the actual lesson activities, but when we're dealing with funding and compensation and things of that nature, program administrators need to be aware. You're welcome. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to hearing from all of you, because I hope all of you are excited to be a part of this project across the state. If you have any other questions, I can type in my email address here. Make sure that your questions are specific to the Digital Literacy Framework project, please, if you're going to email me. All right, thanks so much for joining us. Have a lovely, lovely Wednesday. Bye.